One of the big questions is,
what is money?
For practical purposes, it exists in a series of heterogeneous databases, very different databases.
do you believe in crypto?
Digital currency may be an answer, but it is the highly speculative asset.
I do own Bitcoin.
There is no second best.
Welcome to the Crypto Curious podcast, your weekly crypto crash course. Every Wednesday, join us in the dynamic world of cryptocurrencies. We cover everything from major news stories to short, sharp news bites. If you're new to crypto, we recommend starting with our early episodes where we break down the basics and give you a solid foundation to understand the crypto world. Tune in, laugh and learn. It's crypto made easy. This week on the show, the mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto lingers on as we touch on the fallout from the HBO documentary and why the identity of the Bitcoiner remains elusive. Uniswap is making some waves with big upgrades. We'll break down how UniswapX and Unichain are set to revolutionize DeFi and what this means for the future of crypto trading. Lastly, we've got the latest on the massive DeFi project linked to none other than Donald Trump and his sons, and why this might be raising some eyebrows. My name's Tracy, and I'm joined by Blake and Craig as we bring you all the crypto updates for this week in October. Boys, there's been a little bit of green in the market this morning, so we're feeling good.
What do they say? October?
October, it's finally happening.
Feeling good, Trace. Obviously, uncertainty still, but compared to the 3 weeks ago when I was depressed, the mood has shifted.
The mood has shifted, yes. A little bit of green, some green candles finally. So we'll see if this is short-lived or if we are finally in for some good times. So let's crack on and look at our first story. And we need to do a little bit of an update after last week's topic, which was the HBO documentary called Money Electric, the Bitcoin Mystery. And this one promised to reveal the identity of Satoshi. And spoiler alert, we didn't actually find out. Firstly, did anyone actually watch the doco? Either of you two?
Haven't watched it, but I feel like I've read enough to know what's happened.
Yeah, I did plan to, but I haven't got easy access to it and I haven't had the time, but I probably still will watch it. But look, instead of delivering some kind of conclusive answer, the film really just zeroed in on one guy, Peter Todd, who most people hadn't even heard of. He's a Bitcoin core developer, and they tried to link him with some pretty circumstantial evidence. And Peter Todd himself actually went on record to deny that he's actually Satoshi right before it even aired, Craig.
Yeah, Peter Todd, he's fuming. He's saying that the documentary that's exposed him endangers his life. He's not happy about it. But as you said, Trace, no one saw this coming. He wasn't even listed on Polymarket. There's been many theories that have been debunked by Twitter investigators and even Peter. I think some of the links were that he was around during the early 2010s. He did communicate with Satoshi. He did have a presence in the old Bitcoin forum chats back in the day. And one of the core parts of the evidence that HBO put together was that they were linking his writing style to similar to Satoshi's, and they made a claim that he accidentally replied to a Satoshi comment with his own account. Bit of clutching at straws here. And in saying that, he was early 20s when this came out, still at uni. Do you think someone that young, he was studying arts, do you think he had the capability to build something like this? I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I'll do the same because to me, HBO usually produces some good stuff and this just seems like a bit of a flop to me. So again, I can't say too much because I haven't seen it, but they must have done their research. But one thing that is interesting is surely there's a lot of people connected to such a big, high-scale production. Surely a couple of them were part of that 44 million who put bets on it as part of Polymarket and would have put a little bit on this Todd guy, but clearly not.
And Trace, and Peter Todd, he wasn't just involved in Bitcoin. He was involved in Zcash and some other early projects. I guess one of the core parts of it was his relationship with Hal Finney and being so prominent in those Bitcoin forum chats.
All right, well, look, if anyone else did watch that and has got some commentary of their own, then jump into the Crypto Curious Facebook chat and start a conversation. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but no doubt this won't be the last doco or movie that we do see about the mysterious Satoshi, and we'll see what comes. Let's move on now, guys, to our next story and dive into one of the biggest talking points of this week around Uniswap, who made some serious upgrades that could change the way people interact with DeFi, Uniswap Labs has launched UniswapX, a game-changing protocol designed to solve the big issues decentralized exchanges face, which is fragmented liquidity. And if that wasn't enough, they also released the very next day the introduction of Unichain, a new Ethereum layer 2 designed to bring speed and decentralization and seamless cross-chain swaps to DeFi. Now, cross-chain seems to be kind of the flavor of the week. So, guys, let's start with UniswapX. This protocol aggregates liquidity across chains. What do we think of this? What does this mean for the future of decentralized trading? And could Uniswap be the go-to DEX for even more users, even though I think it probably is the number one at the moment?
Well, we've discussed this previously, whether or not these layer 2 solutions built on top of Ethereum parasitic to the ecosystem, which essentially means are they draining too many resources? And kind of what we mean by that is there's only a certain amount of liquidity in the DeFi ecosystem on Ethereum. And the more layer 2 solutions there are, the thinner the liquidity is because it has to be shared amongst all these different chains. Now, this UniswapX that pulls liquidity cross-chain is really the solution that we need in order to solve this problem, because having, for example, 100 layer 2s or even 1,000 layer 2s in the future, there needs to be resources and liquidity shared across chains.
That's a good explanation. Kai, you got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, well, I think Uniswap have always been first movers in anything in crypto. 2020, they did the Uni airdrop, which led into a bunch of airdrops after that. And I think we might see the same with Unichain. We spoke about it a few weeks ago, like why wouldn't every DeFi app build their own layer to suit what's required for them? And obviously Uniswap's requirements are liquidity, getting access to the cheapest fees and fastest transactions as possible. In saying that though, I don't necessarily think it's parasitic to Ethereum. End of the day, it's still settling on an Ethereum stack. It just remains to be seen these settlement fees that now currently you'd have to use Ethereum, and Ethereum Foundation would get access to those fees. Now that will go to Uniswap holders. And don't forget, they've also got this proposal that's caught up in the American legal system of this whole thing around rev share. So they've got 3 huge things happening right now. They've got the Unichain, UniswapX, and the rev share proposal. If they get regulatory clarity on the rev share proposal and these 2 things launch without a hitch, Uniswap's one of those projects, for me, I think I'm confident in that it'll still exist in the next 5 to 10 years and will still be used. So yeah, they're really making moves, always a team that innovates, and let's see how they go.
I might just comment quickly on the legal stance of rev share in the US. I think this is going to be a highly politicized issue and won't necessarily be settled on the merit of law. It's really going to be dependent on who's running the SEC on that one. I suspect that this will go on for some time because whoever wins or loses is probably going to appeal it. So I don't think there's going to be any immediate impacts with that one.
Okay, well, look, as far as Uniswap goes, you're staying ahead of the curve, and they're one of my favourites to use as well, I think, especially with this innovation, especially DeFi moving towards a multi-chain future, which we've just spoken about. But Uniswap and their Unichain and UniX both seem poised to make a decentralised trading faster and cheaper and more secure. So it'll be exciting to see how these guys impact the broader DeFi space. And with that, guys, we'll move on to our third story. One of the most talked about DeFi projects this week, aside from Uniswap that we've just spoken about, was World Liberty Financial. This project, which is linked to Donald Trump and his 3 sons, is looking to raise a massive $300 million through an initial token sale next week. They're aiming for a $1.5 billion valuation, and they've already got plans lined up to launch a lending platform on Ethereum's layer 2 Scroll, where users can lend and borrow tokens like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins. But here's the kicker. The governance token will be non-transferable for the first 12 months. Holders can use it to vote on the platform's development, but they won't be able to trade it just yet. It's all part of their strategy to build long-term engagement with their community. So, Blake, I'll start with you. What do you make of this approach with this long-term engagement of the community? It's a non-transferable governance for a full year. Is this going to attract or scare off potential investors?
I think it's pretty reasonable. There's lots of token lockups that happen when professional investors invest into DeFi platforms. And I don't see why it shouldn't be extended to retail investors, because building a decentralized finance platform, lending and borrowing platform is complicated and takes time to get up and working. And it buys the team time to only focus on product instead of having to focus on managing the token price and nuances and all the things that come along with the token at the same time.
Okay, all right, interesting answer. So, Craig, there's been a lot of chat around the fact that Trump and his sons, obviously, they're the ambassadors for this project. We've mentioned and talked about it and poked a little bit of fun at that. But given the nature of the fact that he's running for president and is involved, do you think this will help with the adoption, or do you think people will see this as a bit of an issue?
Well, it's funny, we're talking about $300 million raised ICO locked up for a year, and anyone can get access to it. It's actually quite a fair launch, really, which is quite funny to say, because these other big raises in the past have only really been exclusive to VCs and crypto funds. Now, the average punter can get involved. Look, I think from a pure reach perspective, Donald Trump's millions and millions of followers, his appeal, why not put a little bit of cash in, see how you go? It's locked up for 12 months. I think it's probably a case of maybe him winning and maybe him changing the regulatory framework of it before they start trading it. I just find it funny how we launched on Scroll. Like, Scroll's like a little minuscule layer. It's a minuscule layer 2, has hardly any volume on there.
There's a story there. There's got to be a story there.
Has to be. Like, I jumped on there a year ago, I think, to just make a few trades to be eligible for an airdrop farm, and they are going to do an airdrop soon. I think I'm going to make like $90 or something. So interesting. Let's see what happens.
Follow-up question to you, Blake, though. Do you think that he'll raise that $300 million quite easily then?
Do you reckon?
100%.
I'm not sure. It's a pretty big number.
Future president is a DeFi opinion lead, a KOL. What do you think, Trace? Do you think he sells out?
I don't know. He might come close.
Well, they're claiming they've already had 100,000 sign-ups. That's what they're claiming already.
Okay. Look, let's stay for a moment with the presidential candidates and crypto, because this is some breaking news today. US Vice President Kamala Harris is set to announce her support for regulatory framework for cryptocurrency and digital assets during a campaign speech that'll happen in Pennsylvania today. And this marks one of her first major comments on crypto as part of her opportunity agenda, which focuses on supporting Black men and underserved communities. Her campaign highlights that over 20% of Black Americans have owned cryptocurrency, and her plan aims to protect those participants through proper regulation. I'm not sure where she's going with this or much more about this. Obviously, it's about to happen today. And apparently that everyone's thinking this is obviously pro-crypto, and this speech could potentially signal a shift in her policy stance. Any more on that, boys?
So the policies are just going to protect Black men and no one else?
Just don't know where this is going.
I'm quite confused around what she actually means by this. And maybe she's noticed a trend of African Americans having ownership to crypto, which maybe they want to protect those investors. But I think just by definition, you're protecting everyone, really. So I think she's probably just pandering to her base. Trump does the same thing.
Anyway, look, it's cryptos are back in the spotlight. And with that, let's take a break. And when we come back, our short, sharp news bites. Welcome back. You're listening to the Crypto Curious podcast. It's time for our short, sharp news bites brought to you by the Bamboo app. Craig, you can go first today, mate.
Yeah, so Coinbase partnered with the Nike Melbourne Marathon last week. So what Coinbase did is they represented the finishing time and your finishing medal as an NFT, so as a digital collectible. So your result is etched on the blockchain forever, which is interesting. But I think the best part about doing the marathon is actually getting the physical medal.
You're there for the medal, are you? You want the silverware there?
I'm there for the clout. Yeah, I don't really care too much about scanning a QR code.
But you know what? When you're out, talking with the ladies, you can show that NFT on your phone
Oh, that'll go down really well.
Shout out to that one lady. All right, what's up next, Blake?
All right, next up, we have another story about Mt. Gox. So for those that don't know, Mt. Gox was a cryptocurrency exchange that hacked and also went down in 2014. And the legal cases have been going on since then, and funds were due to be distributed this year to creditors. However, this deadline has been pushed out to October 2025. These people are going to have to wait just a little bit longer. It's been 10 years already. But these guys are probably chomping at the bit.
Why do you think that happened? Why do you think it's been pushed out a year?
Good question. Not too sure, but yeah, twiddling our thumbs.
Kind of makes FTX look really good. It's like, right, it's been 2 years, here's your cash back, done. Okay, what's up next? Van Eck enters the crypto VC space. The global investment manager had launched an early stage fund operating in fintech, digital assets, and AI. So Van Eck is prominent in crypto and traditional finance as one of the first asset managers to file for a Bitcoin ETF in 2017. So this is probably not such a big surprise, really. What's up next, Craig?
Guys, my short, sharp news bite is that meme coins are at all-time high in terms of how many are in the top 100. So for the first time, we've got 19 meme coins that have made the top 100 by market cap. What do you guys think's happening? Meme coins seem to be going crazy. What's your read in the market right now?
To be honest, I haven't been following the meme coins recently. What's going on?
Well, I think maybe we should probably delve into this and do a bit of a news story maybe next week.
All right, Samsung Pay has partnered up with Alchemy Pay. For those that don't know, Alchemy Pay is a big payment provider in crypto that allows people to easily onboard with cash into the crypto ecosystem. And now they've made it even easier using Samsung Pay. So yeah, definitely check it out. And maybe it's coming to an exchange near you sometime soon.
So Ripple's co-founder, Chris Larson, has donated $1 million in XRP to the Future Forward Foundation, which is supporting Kamala Harris's campaign to become president. So that's a big whack of money there from XRP going towards the Democrat Party.
I'll finish this off, Trey. So to end things, Jupiter launches an iOS app. So Jupiter is a platform on Solana that offers zero fees, really quick swaps, even with Apple Pay, credit cards and more. So you can buy your Solana meme coins straight on Jupiter. So that's launched, which is very exciting.
Okay, cool. I know you said finish things off, but lastly, I just wanted to pop this one in here. Google search has now supported the search for .eth or ENS addresses and returns the account's associated balance. I thought that was quite cool. If you don't know what an ENS or ETH address is, we did speak about that about 5 episodes ago, but I think that's quite a cool integration from Google right now. And I think that will be it for the show, boys. Thanks for everybody for coming with us today to talk about all things crypto. Hope you've enjoyed the journey. Maybe send this episode out to a mate who started to talk to you about crypto, wants to learn a little bit more. We'd love to have as many people coming on this journey with us. Until then, next week, stay curious, stay connected. You can do this by joining our Crypto Curious Facebook group or our Instagram page. Be sure to hit the subscribe button wherever you're listening to the podcast right now. And if you're looking to dollar cost average into the crypto market, have a look at the Bamboo app and you can use the code CURIOUS for $10 of free Bitcoin to get you started. There's a link in the show notes below and we'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.